Today we're going to learn about how to create a web page from scratch. So far we've been learning in Dash and you've been following the tutorials, and at the end you could edit the code a bit, put your own content, and create a really nice looking web project which you've been turning in as an assignment. But obviously that's not how you do it in the real world. You need to be able to create web pages from scratch, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to say that you're looking for a web development firm, you are an amazing coder, and someone's come to your firm to ask you to create a web page about their town. And they've given you the content they want you to put in the town. So if you click here, you'll get to this. Just copy this, because that way you don't have to type it. It's a gift to you, making your job a little easier. All right, we're not going to do our work in Chrome now. We're actually going to do it on a program. And I'm going to teach you how to get to that program. So the program is called Visual Studio Code. You could type it in here and you might be able to find it. It's one way to go. You could press F4 and get a list of all the programs in your computer, and it could be there. My preferred way is actually just to go, Applications, the bottom of the list, because it's in alphabetical order, and double click on it. So any of those ways to open it up. Once you get into the application, we need to start a new web page. To do that, you'll probably need to click on these pages to get to the Explorer. And once you get to the Explorer, you might see this blue Add Folder button. Sometimes students don't see it and they don't know how to get to it. There's always more than one way to get to it. You could also just go up to File here and choose Add Folder to Workspace. We haven't yet created the folder, so we're going to do so now. Make sure you're in your documents. And then down here, just choose No Folder. And because this is a web page about Anytown, we'll just call it Anytown. That's the name of the town. And press Create. And then just choose Add. And now we can get started. Once you're here, just click on Anytown, so it's selected. And we need to create our web page and write our code in it. So what you'll do, be careful with these. This one's New File, New Folder, Refresh. The one that we need is the first choice, New File. And all web pages have the same name for their first main web page, and you call that index.html. It is special. It must always be called index.html. So please make sure it's spelled right, and then you can press Return to create it. As long as it's spelled right, you're ready to go. If you've messed up, you could always press Control-click and rename in case you spelled it wrong. All right, I've already copied the content, so I'm going to paste it. So here is my wonderful web page, and now I want to see what it looks like. In the program that we use, Dash, when you code, you kind of see an example of the code on the right-hand side. We have to do something different here to see what our code looks like. Up here at the top it says unsaved. If you just first save it, then we can see what it looks like. The way that you'll see what it looks like is you're simply going to go to Finder, and when you made that folder in your documents called Anytown, just go ahead and open that up. And you'll see your index.html. Now, if you double click on it, it will open. There's a chance it's going to open in Firefox. That's because Firefox is your browser. In case it opens in Firefox, you could always press Control-click on it, Open With, and choose Chrome if you want it to open in Chrome. But opening it in Firefox is fine as well. Anyways, mine's set to open in Chrome. It's my default. Firefox might be your default. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up, and I'll see my wonderful website. It has all the content I need. I don't have to type any of the content in, but as you see, it doesn't look good at all. It's just one huge paragraph, and no one really wants to read that. All right, so let's put some tags in to actually make sense of this. I'm just going to put this over to the side. I'm at my laptop computer, so my screen is smaller. You could just, if I were you, I would split my screen. Okay, so let's begin actually putting tags in our project so it starts to look more like a web page that has structure with paragraphs and titles and headings and things. So we want to get started. I'm going to click here on one and just move it down a couple spaces. The first tag on any website is this doc type tag. If you start, it'll actually be on your list. And if you just press return, it will show up. And if you're in awe of what I just did, I'm just trying to put the doc type in. So I'm going to start my tag, and you're going to see, if you just press return, it will magically type the rest of it in. That's exactly what I wanted to type in. Or you're welcome to type it yourself. Just the less than sign, exclamation point, doc type, HTML. Okay, great. After you do that, Dash has not taught you this yet, but the next tag you should have on your page is an HTML tag. It tells the browser that everything below this is HTML. When you close that, it'll close the tag automatically. Cool. You can just Command exit. It puts it in the computer's memory, and go to the bottom and Command V it instead of having to type it out again. Okay, I'm going to highlight all of my information and press Tab. That's because you're supposed to nest everything inside a tag so you can tell easily that it's inside. So all of this is inside the HTML tag. All right, press return after HTML. And we also need to have a few tags, but one of them is the head. And then if you just press return, we'll come back to the head later. And the next one is the body tag. As soon as you see it on your list, if you press return, it'll finish typing it. And I'm going to go ahead and Command X that, Command V it. All right, since the body is, well, it's actually already nested in HTML, so it's actually fine over here, but it should be tabbed over here to keep it nested properly. Okay, so all of this text goes inside the body, so now I'm going to tab that over one time. Nice. All right, well, if I want to see that on the page, as you see, things aren't changing as I'm typing. But if I want to see if that made any difference, I just have to click Save here, and then go over to my website and refresh. So even though I did do some things, nothing is showing up on the screen yet. Okay, so let's make some things show up. For example, visit Anytown, USA. That is going to be the biggest heading on my page. So I'm going to make an H1. And that should show up. So let's save that and refresh. Finally, a little bit of pizzazz, tiny bit of pizzazz on my page. Okay, things to do is going to be another heading, but not as big as my title, Anytown, USA. So I'll make this an H2. Command X, Command V. Why am I not just pressing Command C? Because then I copy it and then I have to delete it. Command X just immediately cuts it from the page so I don't have to then delete it. It's faster. I'm going to put another H2 here. I've already typed it once, so I'll show you a trick. Command V. Oh, it automatically, it's not much of a trick. Never mind. I'm trying to show you that if you type in H2 and you close it, let's just say it doesn't automatically close it next to it. This is kind of cool. After Amazing Museums, if I start a tag, and I press the slash mark, it already knows that I want to close my H2 because I just opened it. Anyways, this program is smart, so sometimes it's going to make tags for you. Usually they're what you want. Every once in a while they're not. So, you know, check up on that, but at least you don't have to type them all like you did in the last program. Okay, so I'm going to make an H2 around Amazing Museums. Also, I'm going to put an H2 around Splash Anyone Water Park. An H2 around Best Zoo in Town. And finally, an H2 on how to get there. Okay, and let me save that and see what that looks like. Much better. Things to do, Amazing Museum, Splash Anyone, Best Zoo in Town, and how to get here. All right, cool. Next, I want to put paragraphs around my main paragraphs, which is Amazing Museum, Splash Anyone, and Best Zoo in Town. Paragraph tag. Oops. Okay. Nice. So let's save that, refresh, see what happens. Doesn't look any different, but at least it's coded correctly. Okay, so the very beginning, things to do, I don't want to just write them. This is actually supposed to be in a list. So there's two types of lists. You've learned them very briefly in Dash. There's an ordered list. Ordered list means it's numbered, 1 through however number you have. And the other type of list is unordered, so it would be bulleted list. Let's go with a bulleted list, things to do. So we're going to make this an unordered list. So I'm going to press return, and right above hiking, I'm going to put unordered list, so UL. And right below backpacking, I'm going to tab it over. I'm going to make a closing tag, or just copy and paste this one over. All right, tab it over correctly. Now, since all of these are inside the unordered list, I'm going to nest it by pressing tab. Okay, let's see if that looks different. I'm actually kind of curious. Oh, tabbed it over a little bit, but it's not exactly what I wanted. So to make the bullet points show up automatically, you actually did this in your Dash lessons. You need to wrap an LI tag around each of your list items. So LI hiking ends with our closing of the list item. All right, save that, refresh, nice. This is bulleted. So now you know what an unordered list, UL, and you wrap list items, and now it's going to be a bulleted list. So you could do that down here, like how to get here, bullet by plane, by train, by automobile, by boat. But just for practice, since we haven't done the other type of list, we're going to do an ordered list. So right underneath this H2 down here, go ahead and type an OL tag. And after by boat, you'll paste in the closing. Now tab over the list because that's just good practice. You can find things quickly this way. And now you're going to have to, same thing, list item each of the insides. Plain, list item, and I'm going to just cut and paste, list item, list item, and now what you'll see, if I save it, don't forget to save it and refresh, down below they're numbered, which is nice. So you don't have to number things, you just put the list item in and it will number it for you. All right, well this is already looking like a much better page than what we started out with. Let's continue with what we've learned to add some more things onto the page. One thing is how to name this tab up here. Naming the tab is a title tag. So I'm just going to type in title, and right between the tags I'm going to put my title, Anytown, USA. And let's save that and refresh. Nothing will change on the actual page. The change is up here at the top. Don't be confused with the word title. Title always means the title of the tab. H1 is on the page. Everything on the body is what you see. Everything in the head are directions for the page to follow. That is off the regular page. So that's where the title is. Now there's other things that we've done in the head, and like for example the style, but we're going to actually learn how to do a different style than we've learned before. In the past it was great to put your style tag here, and it will work here. But if you have a really large website, you don't want to have to style every single page separately. Imagine if you had Wikipedia and you have decided that H1s in Wikipedia should all be 30 pixels high. And that's the standard. And then later on, maybe like a few months later, you realize that 30 is actually way too big. You can't put so much on the page when your H1s are so big, and you want to make them 25 on every single page in Wikipedia. Nobody wants to go to every single page, thousands, hundreds of thousands and thousands of pages, and make all the H1s 25 pixels. It's just way too much work. They don't do that. They style in one place, and because they styled in one place, they just push it. By changing it in one place, it pushes to every single page on the web. That's what we're actually going to be learning how to do, is making a separate style sheet so we can style all our pages at once, because this will be a multi-page site. When we get finished, it won't just have one page. Okay, this is great for now. Let's quickly go check our dash code. Just to make sure we have everything that we're supposed to have here at the top. So we've done the head, but we haven't, and I told you we're going to skip style, but there's something that you're supposed to do. So link href normalize style sheet. Instead of typing that in, I'm just going to copy that because coders like to work smarter, not harder. And here inside the head, but above the title, I'll just paste that in. So I do have this, which just helps formatting of our page, which is great. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to put images here on our site here. It's actually similar to the way I've taught you in the last video, except it's not in Dash. To do that, you're going to come back over here and Untitled, and we're going to add a folder. And this folder is going to be called our Images folder. And all of our images are going to go in this place. We need an image about a museum, a water park, and a zoo for our website. So Chrome it is. Let's use all of our images from Unsplash. Zoo. And you get to choose which picture that you want to use. I'm going to use everything. Let's just make a decision that we're going to use landscape pictures instead of landscape and portrait, so everything will look the same at the end as far as formatting. This is cute, a little boy with deer. I'm excited about it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and embed a credit badge. So I can give credit for this here. And this is the zoo, so right underneath the paragraph tag, I'm just going to paste in that embed code. So I have it sweet. And I have downloaded the zoo picture. Just going to push it to my desktop for now. All right, now the next thing I need is museum. Such a cool museum here in Anytown. Ooh, this is such a cool one, but I'm going to keep everything landscape, so I'm not going to choose the dinosaur. All right, you can choose whichever one you want. I'll just choose this one. Embed a credit badge. Visual Studio Code. Paste that in. Cool. I've got that, and I have my second picture, and my third picture was I have the zoo at the water park. All right, I think that's gonna, that's kind of cute. There's actually some really good ones if I keep looking, but I don't have time for that, and I know you don't either, so let me just go ahead and download one. Embed a credit badge. Okay, so I'll put that in Visual Studio Code. Nice. And finally put that on my desktop. All right, now both these pictures are way too large, so you're going to need to open each of them up and change the dimensions. I'm going to make mine 350. It's going to look tiny, but don't worry, if you just go to View Actual Size, it looks fine for our website. I'm going to do that for each of them. 350. Super. View. Oops, keep doing the wrong one. 350. View actual size. All right, after that, I'm just going to put them in my folder. So if you open up Finder, and you'll notice if you're in the Anytown folder that you'll see an image folder that you just created. If you're not, you might have to click on Anytown and Images and put these pictures inside. It's going to make it easier if they don't have such strange long names. So if you take a look at the picture, this is the water park. Just to make this easy, I'm going to change the name to Water Park, one word. This one is of my museum. So I'm going to change the name, Click once, return, museum, and this one is of the zoo. So it's just easy to know which picture is which, and it will also help my coding. Okay, now that I've named the files, I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code, and I'll look inside my image folder, and there are my 3 pictures. Sweet. So to get an image, I am going to put the image right above the badge, which I used from Unsplash. And this is the museum, so I'm going to make a image, img, an image tag, image space src equals in quote, no, trying to remember how to do this. Yeah, in quotation marks, you're going to put /museum, I believe. If not, I'll check in just a second and see if that worked. After that, I'm going to close the tag, and I'm not sure. Press save and refresh and see if my picture, nope, it's obviously not it. Let's see, let me go back here. Spelled everything right. Oh yes, I just put museum. I need to put JPEG. Silly Miss Milton. Okay, try this again. Let's see if that worked. It's been a year since I've been coding. No, it still doesn't work. I think I need to put images / Oh goodness, that was almost embarrassing. Okay, yes, you need to put images / museum.jpg. So let me try this again and actually do it fluidly with Waterpark. So I've got my image and I've got my A tag, the reference I mean. Okay, so again, right below, press return, and I'm going to make an img src equals. It's in the images folder, so I need to type images first, then put a slash, and call this waterpark.jpg, of course, and make sure I've closed my image tag. Finally, I need to have one more image. It's going to be below the paragraph about the zoo, above the A tag, which is a link to tell me where I got my picture. And I'm going to do the same thing. This is img space src for image source equals. I'm going to put quotation marks and put images / zoo.jpg. And if I did this right, make sure I close my tag, you'll see that sometimes things are red and it tells me, oh shoot, there's a mistake. Oh yeah, I forgot to close my tag. So if you notice something's red on your page, it's there to help you. Okay, let's go ahead and save this and see what my grand page looks like in the end. Fantastic. This looks really, really good. If I click here, it will actually open up this artist, which is why it's an A tag. This is where we're going to stop. We'll see how far you get today. It's looking really good. Our next step is to actually create a page about amazing museums, a page about Splash Anyone Waterpark, and a page about Best Zoo in Town, which would be cool to finish our website, but that's coming up. Bye-bye.